Welcome to the Brookshire Brothers Internet Usage and Other Communications Policy Training Module. The purpose of this policy is to establish rules for the appropriate use of company computers and computer systems and all company communications equipment and systems, including but not limited to Internet use and access, email systems, paging systems, telephone systems including cell phones, fax systems, and mail systems. This policy covers all company employees and vendors and any agent operating on behalf of the company. Consultants, contract personnel, or other non-employees who are allowed access to the company's computers, computer system, or other communication system shall be required to abide by the policy. In this course, the following information will be discussed and reviewed. Email policy, which will include using email, handling unsolicited emails, handling confidential emails, receiving emails from strangers, email tips, and monitoring and accessing. Internet policy, which will include security limits, using the internet, responsible internet use, and monitoring and accessing. We will also discuss other communications such as telephone and cell phone usage, and lastly, there will be a final review followed by a quiz. Before starting, let's clarify the definition of email, internet, and intranet. Email: messages distributed by electronic devices from one computer user to one or more recipients via a network. Internet: the global communications network that allows almost all computers worldwide to connect and exchange information. Intranet: a local or restricted communications network or private network created using World Wide Web software. Email and Internet policies. The reason why there are such policies. Having such policies in place helps protect both business and employees, and it familiarizes the employee with what is and is not acceptable. The policy must be adhered to or there could be serious consequences, ultimately leading to fewer security risks for Brookshire Brothers as a result of employee negligence. Company computers and computer systems and all company communications equipment and systems, including but not limited to email systems, paging systems, telephone systems, including company-issued cell phones, fax systems, and all other electronic and digital forms of communications are the property of the company. In addition to information stored on company systems and equipment, this policy also covers information stored on Internet device providers' servers and company website or other virtual locations. All of Brookshire Brothers' policies relating to intellectual property protection, privacy, misuse of company equipment, harassment, hostile work environment, data security, and confidentiality shall apply to the use of email. Company email should not contain content that is deemed to be offensive, vulgar, or harassing language and/or images. If an email is received of this nature, promptly notify a supervisor. Using company resources for personal email is discouraged. Sending chain letters or joke email is prohibited. Do not read an email that is not addressed to you unless authorized to do so by the recipient. Use extreme caution when opening email attachments received from unknown senders, which may cause viruses. Employees should not have any expectations of privacy in anything they create, send, or receive on the Brookshire Brothers email system. Incidental and occasional personal use of email is permitted by the company, but these messages will be treated the same as other messages with regard to lack of privacy and monitoring. Email is a business communication tool. Users are obliged to use this tool in a responsible, effective, and lawful manner. Although, by its nature, email seems to be less formal than other written communications, the same laws apply. Therefore, it is important that users are aware of the legal risk of email. Email should always be regarded as potentially public information, which carries a heightened risk of legal liability for the sender, the recipient, and the organization for which they work. All messages distributed via the company's email system are Brookshire Brothers property. An employee's email signature block must be in the format established by the company. No additional information or image may be added to the signature block, including but not limited to quotes, slogans, or image. Receiving emails from strangers. Use extreme caution when opening email attachments received from unknown senders, which may cause viruses. Scam emails may contain links or attachments that may direct users to phishing or malware-infected websites. Indicators of malicious intent. Unusual requests that bypass our internal procedures. Changes in invoice delivery method. Generic salutation, "Dear customer," grammar and spelling mistakes, immediate action required, links and attachments. Avoid sending confidential information by email. If confidential information must be sent by email, secure the information by including it in a Microsoft Word or Excel file and protecting it with a password. Provide the recipient with the password by means of other communications, such as the telephone. All emails containing HIPAA-protected information must be encrypted using an improved emails encryption program. To handle unsolicited email, contact the Information Security Officer at the corporate office regarding any suspicious emails. If any offensive, unpleasant, harassing, or intimidating messages via email or intranet are received, inform the HR department or the VP of IT immediately. It is important that the emails are traced as quickly as possible. Here are some email tips. Take measures to prevent spam from getting into your mailbox. Do not automatically trust any email from unknown individual or organization. Treat email attachments with caution. Use common sense. Learn the email policies of the organizations Brookshire Brothers does business with. Responsible internet use. The equipment, services, and technology used to access the internet are property of Brookshire Brothers. The company reserves the right to monitor internet traffic and monitor and access data that is composed, sent, or received through its online connections. Additionally, under no circumstances may company-owned computers or other electronic equipment, including devices owned by the employee, be used to obtain, view, or reach any pornographic or otherwise immoral, unethical, or non-business related internet sites. Doing so can lead to disciplinary action up to and including termination of employment. Internet policy. Use responsibly. The internet should be used to help support goals and objectives of the company, such as research and educational tasks to help in an employee's role. Brookshire Brothers reserves the right to monitor internet traffic and monitor and access data that is composed, sent, or received through online connections. Do not access, transmit, forward, or download material that is offensive, abusive, pornographic, obscene, profane, discriminatory, harassing, insulting, derogatory, inflammatory, fraudulent, or otherwise unlawful. Do not transmit company's confidential information, proprietary material, or trade secrets to any outside source without a business purpose or authorization. Brief and occasional personal use of the internet is acceptable as long as it is not excessive or inappropriate, does not occur during work time, and does not result in the expenses to the company. Management reserves the right to determine whether any use is inappropriate, excessive, and/or violates this policy. Using the internet. Unacceptable use of the internet by employees includes but not limited to sending or posting discriminatory, harassing, or threatening message or images on the internet or via Brookshire's email service, downloading, copying, or pirating software and electronic files that has copyrights or without authorization. Also, posting company-assigned email addresses on the internet, including chat rooms, instant messaging, and/or new groups. If an employee encounters negative or disparaging information on the internet that relates to the company or its product and/or services, the employee should not respond, but instead should bring the information to the attention of the Information Security Officer. Things to be aware of: social engineering and phishing attacks. Social engineering is the type of attack in the form of a phone call or physical conversation where a person is manipulating the conversation to extract certain information about the company. Phishing attacks are a type of a social engineering tactic that tricks a person into doing something in order for an attacker to gain knowledge to access to leverage information for an account. Phishing is one of the most difficult forms of attack to stop and is often very easy to accomplish with little effort. Please be aware of the Brookshire Brothers procedures when it comes to reporting suspicious emails, phone calls, or even visitors within the organization. Here are some things to think about. Is the mail and/or packages and invoice legit? How would one react if someone called in distress and said it was an emergency? Is there an attachment from an unknown user or urgent reward and/or response? Why is there a new credit card machine from a processor saying to replace the old one? Is it a scam? Trust but verify. Report suspected data security or privacy incidents early and often. Security limits. Passwords and encryption keys must be made available to the IT, Information Technology Department. If a business need should arise in which it is a necessity to obtain access to a specific computer in the absence of the assigned user, appropriate management authorization must be obtained. Employees who believe their terminal or computer systems have been subjected to a security incident or has otherwise been improperly accessed or used should report the situation to their Information Security Officer immediately. The employee shall not turn off the computer or delete suspicious files. Leaving the computer in the condition it was in when the security incident was discovered will assist in identifying the source of the problem and in determining the steps that should be taken to remedy the problem. Security incident. Any irregular or adverse event that threatens the security, integrity, or availability of the information resources on any part of the company network. Password security. When dealing with passwords, never write it down on paper. Always make passwords strong. When required to change, don't make it the same as the last password and try not to have the same password for all personal and work accounts. Also, do not verbally tell anyone a password. Weak passwords contain less than 7 characters, common usage words, name of family, pet, company, patterns, birthday, and other personal information. Also, weak passwords include words that can be found in the dictionary and/or wrote down or stored in the office. Strong passwords contain at least 7 letters, upper and lowercase letters and punctuations, and are not based on personal information. Also, words that cannot be found in the dictionary, slang, or dialect, nor wrote down or stored in the office. Even though employees may have their own passwords for accessing these systems, in particular voicemail, email, the internet, and computers issued to them, all company computers and other communication system and equipment and all stored incoming and outgoing information are subject to monitoring and auditing. Monitoring and auditing may include, but not limited to, accessing all files and messages stored on or processed through company communications equipment and systems, opening and reviewing file content, and identifying and reviewing traffic patterns and levels of usage, file subject and types, and file origins and destinations. Such monitoring and/or auditing may occur at any time without notice and without the user's permission. Mail. Employees may not use company-paid postage or courier accounts for personal correspondence. Telephone. Personal use of the telephone for long-distance and/or toll calls is not permitted. Practice discretion when making local personal calls, and the employee may be required to reimburse the company for charges resulting in the personal call. Cell phone. During work, cell phone usage should be limited and set to silent. Employees should never use any kind of photographic feature on their cell phones to take pictures of images of confidential information without approval from management. Employees that have excessive cell phone usage for personal calls will be subject to corrective action up to and including termination. Management has the right to determine whether such use is inappropriate, excessive, and/or violates this policy. See company policies for additional rules affecting mobile telephone usage. Manner of communications. Employees are to exercise professionalism in all business communications, including those in electronic format. Employees are expected to communicate with courtesy and restraint to both internal and external recipients. The rule to observe with all communications is that employees should not say or write anything down that they would not want someone other than the intended receiver to hear or read. Employees shall not knowingly introduce a computer virus, worm, Trojan horse, or any other containing or destructive features into the company's computers. Transmit or disseminate the company's confidential information, proprietary materials, or trade secrets to any outside source without a business purpose or authorization. Impersonate another person on any computer or other communication system, or send email or other communication using employee's account without appropriate management and authorization, as well as attempt to read, listen to, intercept, copy, or delete emails or other communications between other users without management approval. Use the internet, email system, or any communication device for any purpose that is illegal or against company policy. Download software without approval from IT department. Software that is approved for downloading must be registered to the company. Copy software unless authorized by the Vice President of IT. Use software other than what is permitted by the relevant license agreement. Download or stream radio, music, video, or music transmissions from the internet sites. Transmit copyrighted material without permission. Post or transmit any message anonymously or under false name, or permit any other individual to do so. Attempt to defeat any security mechanism to gain unauthorized access to computer files or other information on the company's information system or other communication systems. Read or listen to a message that is not addressed to him and/or her unless authorized to do so by the recipient or other appropriate management. The company strives to maintain a workplace free of harassment and is sensitive to the diversity of its employees. Therefore, the company prohibits use of computers, email systems, telephones, fax systems, and any other communication systems in such way that are disruptive, offensive to others, or harmful to morale. Any employee who knows or suspects violations of the expectations should immediately call the HR department, extension 4212, or the Information Security Officer, extension 4646. Any employee who violates the policy will be subject to disciplinary action up to and including discharge. If an employee separates from employment, the employee is required to cease use of and immediately return any company-issued computer or other communications equipment to his or her supervisor or to the IT department. Employees should not delete any files, software, or other information from said equipment prior to its return. The following information is a recap of everything discussed in this training module on Brookshire Brothers Internet and Other Communications Policy and Expectations. Every employee has a responsibility to maintain the company's image and to use electronic resources in a productive manner. Avoid placing the company at risk of legal liability based on use. The company strives to maintain a workplace free of harassment and is sensitive to the diversity of its employees. Any employee found to have violated the policy may be subject to disciplinary action up to and including termination of employment. Any employees who know or suspect a violation of this policy should immediately report the knowledge or suspicion to the VP of IT or the HR Human Resources Department. This completes the training on Internet usage and other communications. There will now be a small quiz and acknowledgement verifying you understand the policy.